Hallelujah. that a new
That
hallelujah?
was a brand new hallelujah.
Wrote it this afternoon, just a few hours ago. We just learned it.
Still happening here.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's funny. Go out for a walk. Oh, got a new one. Here we go.
It will be 63 when we get it recorded. So special. Feels like a special week. It is the week of sweetening, and this idea of sweetening really was sort of picked up by the Hasidim, the Hasidic movement, as a way to talk about our transformation, the inner transformation. And really what we're talking about is the most powerful thing that we bring to the world is the power of our presence, or the quality of our presence. And I think of myself as a kind of an artist of presence, like I'm working with it, It's a complex thing that I'm bringing, and I want to bring a kind of a depth of to the world, and I want what I bring to the world to have a quality that adds love and kindness into the world, and I want to really become aware of the power of my presence. And what I find so puzzling is most people aren't aware of the power of their presence. I mean, of how it affects the whole of life, and I really, I feel it so much that when there's brutality and meanness in the world, I want to respond by finding even more kindness, even more sweet, the sweetening that I want to bring. And it always starts inside me. And when I was teaching about leadership in Kol Zimra, I really became aware of that what we carry becomes the lens through which we, bring meaning into the world, and that we need to be able to really look at what we're carrying and work it and transform it and do this practice of sweetening. And I'll tell you this is the week of sweetening, because of the parsha of the Song of Songs, which happens to have Rachmel's favorite line in the Song of Songs.
Yep, my number one favorite line.
But you might have other favorites too. Yeah, but this one. So the text for this week's parsha says, "How sweet is your loving,
my sister, my bride. How much better than wine. Your oils more fragrant than any spice. Your lips, my bride, drip honey." Here it is. "Honey and milk are under your tongue, and your clothes hold the scent of Lebanon."
So those words about what's inside our mouths really also harken back to when in Deuteronomy it says the Torah is not something far away across the seas. It's right here, close. It's in your mouth, it says. And so it's that close. It's under your tongue. And that idea of the milk and honey, that's the promise, that represents the promised land, right? The milk and honey of the promised land is already here within you. And that place within you needs attention and refinement, and we have to find access to that promised land within us through our practice. And I think when we come together, the power of our practice is amplified. So this, it being sent to the process of sweetening is being sent to our own depths to do the work of refinement, of metabolizing trauma, of integrating some of the places in the past that might be sort of hidden away in us, of transforming that bitterness we might carry into the sweetness. So that sweetening process, and that's what I want to do in our KZOOM, is really just pay attention to what's inside. And what, I think carrying bitterness is something we don't even know we're doing it sometimes until we get triggered. And then that old stuff can emerge as being kind of what keeps us from accessing this present moment, really. So these words, Nofet, titofna. So just say them first because they feel so good in your mouth. Nofet.
Nofet.
Titofna.
Titofna.
Siftotayich, kalah.
Siftotayich, kalah.
Dvash v'chalav.
Dvash v'chalav.
Tachat leshonech.
Tachat leshonech.
So I like to just really feel like, oh, it's under my tongue. It's right here. That it's, I want to access what's already in me and call it forth. Yeah, I think so. So just take a moment to taste it, to feel what's already so close.
Nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, siftotayich, kalah. Nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, siftotayich, kalah. Kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshonech, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshonech. Titofna, nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, siftotayich, kalah. Nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, siftotayich, kalah. Dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshonech, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshonech. Titofna, nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, siftotayich, kalah. Nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, nofet, titofna, siftotayich, kalah. Dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshonech, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshonech. titofna nofet, titofna siftotayich, kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshoneich, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshoneich. Nofet, titofna nofet, titofna nofet, titofna siftotayich, kalah. Nofet, titofna nofet, titofna nofet, titofna siftotayich, kalah. Dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat leshoneich, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, dvash v'kalah, tachat
So just take a moment to taste that milk and honey right here under your tongue. That place of the promised land within you that is waiting for your attention, for your refinement. And it feels like in order to access that, there are kind of layers of our own bitterness that need to be worked, need to be sweetened to get to it, or dissolving those places of the ego that we mean to protect ourselves from suffering, and instead cut us off, really.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do this practice, which is an invocation of the presence of God as the healer to the brokenhearted, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev. We're calling on God as the healer of the broken heart, because really what we need to find is really a practice to work with our own suffering so that it doesn't turn to bitterness. And not only our own suffering, but the suffering that we encounter in the world, that in our relationship to the suffering of the world, we also don't want to become hardened or embittered by it. And it feels like we have to be very kind of vigilant, because it just happens sometimes, really. And there's a formula in this Psalm 147 of how the healer to the brokenhearted works. And it's really so simple. Mm-hmm. The simple thing is, it says you bind up our wounds, meaning you hold us. And those places of suffering in me, when they are held, when they're embraced, when they're held in this compassionate way, the healing happens because of that quality of that holding. And it kind of teaches me that I also need, to the extent that I can feel held, then I can hold others. That was my card. Last week,
right.
twice this time.
Mhm.
Right. So to the extent that I can allow myself to be held, that's how well I can hold others. And the holding itself is the healing. Or the healing happens in the holding, really. When I hold you in such a way with kind of trust and expansiveness, making space for this process to unfold, the process of healing, of sweetening to happen, when I hold you in that, and I hold you in the field of sweetness, then my faith is that healing happens. So I want us to give ourselves to this process of holding, and to pay attention to the quality of being held. I always think about this moment. I heard that Parker Palmer say to a group of
Spiritual teacher.
religious people he's kind of like not even a spiritual teacher. He's kind of I don't know what he is, but Parker Palmer, some people know him. He's a guy. And he was talking to a group of priests and nuns, and he said to them, "We are all functional atheists." And when he said that, it kind of like was like a knife to my heart. It just felt like, oh. And I knew what he meant immediately. And I think, what it said to me, functional atheists, meaning like, if you really knew that you were held every moment, really held, if you knew that God was holding you every moment, you would be so relaxed, you would be so fearless, you would be so open. And and this past week I turned 70, and I had a ritual, and I wrote a declaration of integrity, which said, in a sense, that I really would like I know certain things, but I don't live them. So if I totally knew that I was being held at every moment, that's how I want to live, really. And I'm out of integrity when I know something, but I don't live as if that's true, completely. So, and it's a process. So I want to call in this Harofay, the healing power, the one who heals the broken heart, and to relax into that sense of being held, because I think this is how the sweetening happens in us. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, המחבש לעצבותם, המחבש לעצבותם. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, המחבש לעצבותם, המחבש לעצבותם. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, ומחבש לעצבותם, Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. Once more. Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, Harofay Lish'vuray Lev, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam, u'mechabesh le'atzvotam. into the heart, to your own broken-hearted places, and feel that your hand is like the hand of God holding you. Binding up the wounds so that the healing happens, so transformation can happen, sweetening can happen, refinement can happen in that holding, in that divine embrace. So we're all on this journey, journey from the place of constriction to the place of the promised land flowing with milk and honey. We're on that journey, and our foundational story kind of holds us on that journey and gives us some insight into the steps along the way. And since we're heading towards Passover, where that journey, that kind of the story of that journey is kind of lifted up with a realization that's not something that happened way back when to somebody else, that it's happening right now when we open to the movement of it inside us. So I wanted to bring a practice really that represents a point on that journey. And the journey out of Egypt, out of constriction, is kind of strewn. The path is strewn with both treasures and pitfalls, I guess. And one of the difficulties of the kind of the bitterness is the slavery that's in us. Like, we leave slavery and then we find out the slavery is in us. And slavery to me means our conditioning and our kind of reactivity, the things that compel us to and put us into an unconscious state. So that so we have to encounter that bitterness and do the work of sweetening along the way. And sometimes what happens is that people that we love, people that we love die, and they leave a kind of a hole in us. And if that hole doesn't get filled with love, sometimes the bitterness can arise in the absence of our loved ones, which is what happened in the story of our ancestors. Both Miriam and Aharon, both beloved of the people, die along the way, and the people are thirsty and bitter and argumentative and complaining, and it just brings that grief that they don't know how to really transform. You just get it turns them into I don't know, rebels and complainers, and so this is our story. And I always feel like that moment when someone that I love dies, there's such a crossroads moment of that a door of greater love could open at that moment, or a door to a bitterness can also open in that moment. And so what happens is the people really get very bitter, and that bitterness is manifested outside them as these snakes that come and bite everybody, and and it's a terrible thing that's going on. And Moses does this great shamanic thing that he's told to have his staff with a snake on the top of the like a sculpture like of a snake on the top of his staff, and it's a kind of a homeopathic thing of like if you would look at the snake, then the snake bite that you have would get healed. So it's not. I mean, it's an amazing story, but at so many points during our journey, we run into trouble, and then we have to do some kind of a magic to get us out of trouble. But then we continue on the journey, and Miriam was the one who always knew where to find water. Wherever she was, the water, which represents joy and nurturance, she could always find that water, and she was gone now. And so the people were thirsty, and they go off into the wilderness, and they are told that there is a well there, but they have to chant it up. And they have to chant up the feminine principle, the Shekhinah. And they're given this song to sing to the well that says Ali Be'er, which is Ali is rise up. And they're saying, rise up, O well, Be'er. Ehnu-lah is an ancient word that just means chant her up. Chant up the Shekhinah. Chant her up. That the Shekhinah is hidden in the world and will not be unlocked unless we find the song that can sing her into her fullness. So yeah, I can do that. Yeah. John, you can do that?
Do it.
Yes, do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to place each of us on our own journey through grief. Because we've all been there, and we're all, always standing at some crossroads where we can either look deep in and find the Shekhinah and chant her up, or we can shut down. So I want to say, let's not shut down.
Yeah.
Let's chant up the Shekhinah here. And then we'll be able to drink from this well. Ali ve'er ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah. Ali ve'er ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah. Ali ve'er ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah. ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah. Open your eyes and look into the KZOOM room and look into a face of someone here, to be able to look past the mask and the personality and see the Shekhinah, the divine presence, hiding there. And this is what it means to chant her up, is to be able to look and see in through you and find the Shekhinah there and chant her up, so that she rises in you. So find a face there that you kind of suspect the Shekhinah is hiding there, and we will do a couple rounds of chanting her up here.
ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah,
So I'm grateful that you're showing me the face of the Shekhinah. And I want to do one more practice that describes this transformation, the sweetening that is possible, really. And it comes from the prophet Jeremiah, and his prophecy is, the God is speaking through him and saying, I will, and, he lived at a time of great destruction, as do we. And he's channeling these words from God, and God is saying, I will turn their mourning into joy.
That's a powerful statement.
I will turn their mourning into joy, and we are, kind of the instruments of that power too, that moving through us, and I think it's possible because the joy is already in us, that it gets buried, but it's like who we truly are underneath all of these kind of layers and obfuscations. What's the word? Obfuscation.
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 That's the word.
Underneath it all, there's joy that is there, and that joy is actually not dependent on any outer circumstance. And I feel like this transformation that happens really is the uncovering this joy that is in us, that is not dependent on outer circumstance. And so the possibility, this v'hafachti, which is, fachti is like turning it upside down. That's what the word means. I will turn it. Turning that. We're going to turn that and find that joy in you. Like the joy that is buried in you, we'll turn it up and you'll be able to access it, really. And the evlam is that place of mourning in you, that's this heaviness. And it doesn't mean like suddenly I'm going to get happy. It's just that suddenly I will become aware of the joy that is in me, no matter what is happening out there. And one of the commitments that I made at my ritual, of my declaration of integrity ritual, is to remember that I can bring joy to every challenge. So, and I think because it's in me, it's who I am underneath it all. So so it's a divine kind of movement within me of transformation, of sweetening, that is always happening, and that I want to align myself with, attune myself to, and know that this process of mourning is holy, and inside that mourning is my love and my joy, really. So we'll complete this process with and this is it's sweetening, and this is a reading that is read on Rosh Hashanah, on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Second day, first day, second day. Either the first or the second day. Yes. So we want to tune into that possibility that it's happening, that sweetening is happening already.
I will turn their mourning into joy. Afakti evlam l'sasson, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn their mourning into joy. Afati evlam, l'sasson, afati evlam, l'sasson.
Turn my mourning.
Afati evlam, l'sasson, l'sasson. I will turn my mourning into joy.
Say l'chaim.
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 Boy, it makes mourning, it's kind of a different flavor to it. It's like, oh, great, I'm going to mourn, so I'm going to get to have more joy when I'm done. You know?
Right,
Oh,
it's the journey.
cool.
It's the journey to joy.
Yeah.
If you do it well, yeah. So, well, KZOOMers, thank you so much for your KZOOMing.
Mwah.
Your KZOOMing. I really appreciate it. just to say whatever, if you feel like going to the website and give a little donation. And also, I'm raising funds for the Love at the Center app, which is in the process of being developed right now. And there's a link on the website if you feel like you want to support that to happen. And it's exciting that there's a lot that's going into it. And oh, how'd that happen?
Oh boy.
How
It's
did
magic.
that happen?
It's
What
magic.
did you do?
Ever since you turned 70 on the solar eclipse, magic has been happening.
How did you do that?
Well,
You just went like that? Oh my God.
we just
Maybe we should sing you happy birthday.
let's
Wait a
just
minute.
something.
What
to
does that
think.
do?
Oh, balloons.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. We're having fun.
We're having fun here. All right. I'm gonna wait.
Oh,